Hello, this is Hamza again from GamingonLinux.com, and welcome to Spirits of Xanadu. So this game, it looked interesting to me, and I checked out a couple of minutes of gameplay, I think it's like a week and a half ago or something. In any case, this game intrigued me quite a bit, and I decided to pick it up and play it. And well, I have now played it, and this is a full review of this game. So I've played through this game twice actually, because this game has multiple endings. Well, I sort of just loaded from earlier in the game and just did the stuff that was required for me to do the second ending. But I think I can now give you my thoughts on this game. So, this is developed by Night Dive Studios. They are the guys that port all kinds of old games. For example, the current version of System Shock 2, which is one... they've drawn a lot of inspiration from System Shock 2, which is on basically the Steam and GOG versions of System Shock 2 are maintained by Night Dive Studios, and along with other kinds of games, mostly like DOSBox ports and the likes. But this is their original game. And like I mentioned, it's very heavily influenced by 2001 Space Odyssey, System Shock 2, and all kinds of stuff like that. And it shows. Let's check the options first, because that's when I did the BioShock video, I promised that we would look into this kind of stuff. Fairly simple stuff. I've disabled some of this stuff, like motion blur and FXAA, because FXAA doesn't have much of an effect, and I also dropped the SSAO because this is a Unity port. It's sadly one of those Unity ports that doesn't really behave too well. The performance isn't too great, and then we also have the gameplay options here. And for example, this is something that you might want to see, which is the field of view options, and that's the field of view options go from, they start from the default of 90. Let's see how high it goes. I haven't actually checked. Okay, so it goes to around 120, it seems. Let's actually check once again, because I like wasting my time. Yeah. So that's good. Let's actually get it back to 91 is close enough. So let's actually begin a new game, and I will show you the ropes. This game is quite short, which is one of the things I don't really like about this game. It took me 4 hours to beat, getting to 2 of the endings. If I had played completely from the beginning for the second ending, I would have maybe played this game for 5 hours or so. So it's a very, very, very short game, and as you might already see, it's also quite minimalistic. The models, they are quite. They have quite low amounts of polygons. And we can already see that the game is sort of tanking. This is running at 420p. The game is mostly playable. Of course, the recording has an effect, actually quite a significant effect on the performance. And nice. But yeah, the game does have plenty of frame drops. The performance, like I said, isn't all that great. Especially considering what the game actually looks like. So you might have seen that we docked to something, and this is the research ship Xanadu, which has sort of got their systems have gone down, and we've been sent to. Actually, I'm going to open the briefcase and I'm going to show you our instructions. First of all, let's get the flashlight. So now that we have some light, we can proceed. So our job here is to fix the ship. Something has happened to the Xanadu, and we don't really know what. But in any case, our job is to get all the systems back into, well, action, and then set the coordinates to Earth, and recover all of the stuff that they have possibly found on this planet that they have visited. And you might see, if you check the paper here, the dates are a bit weird, because this, for example, this paper has been dated 21st of April 1983. So this sort of, well, actually this is 21st of March. I don't know whatever. But in any case, the game is sort of set in an alternate timeline where we have sort of figured out spaceflight properly, and we have started exploring all kinds of planets, etc. There are some, like, some signs of the, like, 80s, but not much. This sort of, they sort of, I guess what they tried to do was, they tried to do some, like, old 80s sci-fi thing, whatever. That's an audio log. We are not going to touch it, because audio logs are a bit of a spoiler. And that one in particular probably wouldn't be. Actually, let's play it. Why not?
Good morning. Is it morning where you are? Guess it depends on which side.
Yeah, this is just the. Can I actually skip this?
Anyway, if you're listening to this message, then you're in the vicinity of Alpha Orionis.
I don't think I can, but it's going to play for about 20 seconds.
Thank you once again for taking this job on. There aren't many people who would have done it. The crew are going to be pretty grateful to you, I know that. Help them to get their drive running again, fix up any other problems they may be having, and get back home. The Xanadu has been conducting some very important research, so bring her back to us safely. And keep yourself safe, okay? See you in a few months. Good luck.
Yeah, so basically that's just our instructions once again. We already have the mission orders here. This is our like inventory. You won't really need this except for when you want to check like your documents that you have gathered. You're not going to use it for anything else. But yeah, we got a gun, and this means that there is combat, and there most definitely is. The security systems on Xanadu have kinda gone insane. For example, we can see here there is this turret, and if we stand in front of it, this turret is sort of stuck, but he would, if I stood here for like a second or two, he would fire at me, and the rest of the security systems are not, well, stuck like this. So we can disable this robot here. And as you can see, everything is super dark, but that's because we haven't properly enabled the system. So our job here is to fix everything. And, well, get everything back to Earth safely. And here you can see the map of the spaceship. This is the whole spaceship, whole Xanadu. And, well, you can see here, this is the shuttle bay. And this is the sort of, I don't know what this place is. But one thing is certain, this room looks very, very much like one particular room in System Shock 2. I think this is sort of like their way to, like, sort of reference System Shock 2. Because, well, this game is very heavily influenced by System Shock 2. The storyline is a bit different, but this setting in many ways is fairly similar. But just based on this, you might already get the picture how big this map is. And I'm going to tell it to you. This is the whole ship. There is nothing else. You're only going to be able to visit these rooms. So you have the auxiliary room, the engineering, engine rooms, the offices, crew quarters, etc. And there are all kinds of like systems scattered around the ship. For example, we need to go to the auxiliary to get, we need to go to the engine room, and then to the auxiliary to fix the engines and get some auxiliary power, back online. Then we need to enable navigations in the bridge. We need to fix the cryo base. So there's all kinds of stuff. And of course, the game will throw some obstacles in our way. And it also does some like semi-psychological horror stuff. You will see that probably soon enough. But yeah, let's head for the engines, and I'm going to show you what this game actually is. So there should be a robot patrolling. Yep, as you can see, that's a robot. Actually, let's not go to the engines quite yet. You might have seen that sort of a shadowy figure. That's the horror this game has. This game is not all that scary. It has its scary moments, but the psychological horror isn't like particularly bad. I'm really horrible at and that's a robot done. The game will spawn more eventually, especially when we actually complete stuff or when we die. But yeah, I'm really bad with horror games, and I managed to play this game just fine. I had some scares, and sometimes I didn't scream, but I kinda... Well, I sometimes had a bit trouble with this game. Not much. And that says something about this game, because I usually get scared even when I'm playing non-horror FPS games. For example, I've been playing Half-Life, Half-Life 2, and some of this stuff in the episode 1 was a bit scary. But anyway, we're currently in the engineering, and there are going to be some very, very slight spoilers. This shouldn't affect your experience too much. But yeah, one thing that we need to do is we need to explore a bit, and that fuse in particular is...
Detected in Sector 4. Breach corrected. Return to your posts. Breach detected in Sector 6. Breach corrected. Return to your posts.
As you can see, the computer here is a bit insane. You know, what would a sci-fi be without some, like, really screwed up computers? Anyway, this should fix the lighting. So now everything should be a bit more bright, and we can actually, like, address the general look of the game a bit better when we actually can see it. But the game is mostly just puzzle oriented. A bunch of this stuff is actually you just getting everything back online, and there are, like, for example, these things, for example, survey, communications, they are offline, as well as navigation. The defense is locked and we can't actually fix it, but you can see that we have, like, kilovolts here. So you need to set the correct kilovolts for each system, but you don't know the proper kilovolts. And as you can see, the toggles here are not really... Well, this is not not a good way to set up your, like, buttons. It's very, very unusual. So you would have to find... Also, this is kind of like the general overlook of the current systems that are offline and online. But you would have to find the correct kilovolts for all of these systems, and they are hidden somewhere in the level. There are also other things that are sort of hidden. For example, this place here. This took me a while to figure out, and I'm not going to tell you what the code is, but there is some good stuff there, as you might already guess. The game very heavily, especially if you want one of the, like, better endings, you will really, really have to do almost code-breaking like stuff in order to access the ending. And a big part of there are no cutscenes or anything. So the only way the actual narrative is, well, done is by audio logs and just pieces of paper, like journals, etc. And that's more horror for us. And that there is one of the enemies. That's a just a stationary turret. And it has a shield, so if I try to shoot it, first of all it's going to definitely get alerted immediately, and the other thing is that it can't take damage unless we disable the shield like that. So there's some sneaking, but not much. So let's actually get rid of this turret, and then we can walk around here safely. You might have seen one of these terminals already. These are your basically save stations. They allow you to save your game. You mostly want to save just to, if you want to like exit the game. That's the only reason to save, because if you die, you actually don't like lose any progress. You get transported to the brig, which is one of the places that you probably saw on the map. We actually can check it from here. So you will get transported to the brig, but you won't lose any items or any progress. Sometimes the environment might change a bit and enemies are definitely going to respawn, but other than that, nothing massive happens. Also, this is one of the puzzles once again. So the puzzles are one of the strong suits of this game. In my opinion, they are the best bit. The combat isn't too interesting. You have only 3 weapons in this game, and you will naturally need to find them. They are hidden a bit. And the gunplay isn't all that interesting. This gun is fairly basic. You just charge it and fire it. And then if you fire it as an enemy, the enemy is going to run at you and start firing if it has that kind of capabilities. The enemies aren't all that interesting either. You're only going to deal with security systems. That much I can already tell. And well, the security systems aren't too like the enemies aren't too varied. You have turrets, then you have those robots that walk around, and then you have these other kinds of robots that walk on 2 legs, and when they get too close, they explode. And they are quite difficult to actually destroy.
All personnel, please report to the engine room.
I'm already here, don't you worry. But yeah, one of the puzzles here is to get the engines running. And, well, at first it might seem like getting those fuel cells inside here would fix it. But no, and even setting the load up for the engines doesn't fix it. There's an obstruction. So you would have to find that and fix it, and all kinds of other stuff like that. I'm not going to spoil too much of the puzzles, because the puzzles are the biggest part of this game. And actually anything that I do is sort of a spoiler, and actually a bit too big of a spoiler, because this game is so short. This game is one of my major problems with this game is that this is not enough. I like many things this game does. I like the narrative. I like the story here. There is a bigger story. Something has gone wrong on this ship, as you might have imagined already. There is nobody here. There should be 3 people on this ship, but nobody is here. Well, you might already guess that something bad has happened to them, and most definitely has. But sadly, the game doesn't have enough length or the space to properly explore the plot, which it's a really big shame, because we don't get too many of these kinds of FPS games. And in my opinion, the game actually, gameplay-wise and idea-wise, is a really good one. I'm going to have to sneak in here. I could probably... nope, I can't. I can disable that guy. So yeah, this is one of the ways you can destroy enemies. Just sneak behind them and disable them. Only works for these guys though. But yeah, let's see if I can destroy this guy. I'm going to die, which is not good, because that is going to cause a spoiler. Let's actually see if I can destroy this. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. And actually that was a good thing, because now I can demonstrate the health system. So as you can see, everything has sort of gotten gray, and you saw the red on the edges of the screen. The game has regenerating health. There are some health items, but you won't really need them. You just need to get out of combat for a moment, and that should just keep you relatively safe. Also, that's one of the enemies, the flying robot there. Let's see if I can... Nope, I'm not going to do that, because the other robot is coming this way. But yeah, you would have to... Currently we are here. So naturally you would want to see what's in the crew quarters, the offices. And there is a bunch of like... bunch of notes. The audio logs are also quite nice. And they definitely help you get into the right mood, the right mindset. But sadly I can't really, like, recommend this game. The game is a bit too expensive, for my taste at least. Like, this is 15... Oh, this is one of the... This is the exploding guy. And nobody likes the exploding guy. So yeah, the game... Yeah. So that guy wasn't there before, so he must have spawned. But yeah, the game, considering that this is like 15 euros, it's not really worth it, in my opinion. I liked what I had here, but in my opinion the story goes a bit too fast, and you can really miss a lot of it if you, well, do what you're supposed to do. Because in my opinion, the game requires, like, it should be longer for you to properly think about all of the things that have happened here, and for you to properly realize what has happened here. And the story seems awfully shallow, and even though the level is small, it's also very empty. Like you can see here, there's not much here, and that pretty much just continues the further you go. There isn't much here. The only stuff you will find are the notes and some items that you need for fixing the ship. But really, it's quite empty. That's another robot there. Yeah, let's just get away. But yeah, I like the idea a whole lot. And this might be a game that you might want to possibly get when it's like on a sale. On a good sale, that is. But buying this at a full price is a bit of a letdown, in my opinion. And, well, it doesn't help that the game doesn't really perform all too well. I wish Night Dive Studios like expanded upon this idea, because like they know what they are doing. They have like played plenty of System Shock 2, so they should know pretty much what they should do with a game like this. But sadly, it seems that somewhere they either got bored, or they were simply, for financial reasons or something, rushed to release this game when it wasn't, like, in my opinion, it's not ready. Quite sadly. It would really have to have more stuff in it for me to properly enjoy it. And in my opinion, if you try horror, at least do something other than just these weird white flashbacks. But I'm happy that they didn't like go completely overboard with all kinds of like jump scares or anything. But in my opinion, the game is in a bit of a tough spot. Like genre-wise. It's trying to be all kinds of things, but it's not really committing enough to any of that. But yeah, I think this pretty much just... Also, by the way, vents. These allow you to travel to different places. There are only a couple of them, so I didn't even consider it too important. Mostly you will be either using these as like backdoor routes to a different places. For example, this takes us to the engineering section in the storage room. Another one takes you to the crew quarters. Like, yeah, this one. But yeah, overall, a nice attempt, but not really nice enough result, sadly. But I think that about concludes it. So this has been Spirits of Xanadu, and we will see in future videos and live streams.